politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. Listen, douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Now, me laughing, some all you laughing, eh? You see me, I call a lady from the Catholic Church to come and pray, bless my house, sap my bald head with water, holy water and thing. Because boy, I just hearing shadow ringing out in my ears. Since yesterday, I can't get shadow out of my ears. I like a hearing shadow, boy. Them, some of their contribution better than the PNM. Now you're seeing like they make a mistake because they appoint some independent senators who they thought might be PNM, but they seem so far to be more independent than the batch was there. They now have a joint select committee are supposed to be chaired by an independent senator, Diurup Timal. When I do the research, because I find his decisions not making sense, he going against logic. He says there's sub judice in the Senate, but in the Joint Select Committee, no sub judice. So standing orders apply in the Senate and in the Parliament, but not in the Parliamentary Subcommittee. Makes no sense. Then when I research, Diurup Timal is a PNM on a PNM board with Uttara Rao in the EMBD. So when they're talking about, now here comes Guardian talking about justice must be seen as above partisan affiliations. The small size and closeness of family relationships, friends, business and political associates in this society continue to pose problems for not merely the fairness of actions taken by state officials, but the appearance of less than arm's length appointments to critical positions in the state institutional apparatus. Now, do you see how skillfully the Guardian tries to make an excuse for Rowley and the PNM, trying to say that our society is so small that you're bound to get a president whose husband get 15 million in brief. You're bound to get an attorney general in the cabinet who rents out his own building. He steps out of the cabinet and his cabinet colleagues rent out his own building for 3-year period, 23.6 million, going in his third set of 3 years, going up to 70 million, and they approved 38 million for him to outfit his own building. These people now see that. They don't see bias. They don't see conflict of interest. When Stuart Smallpin Young swears in on the Bible to be Rowley's K-Pax Liquor and member and minister in the office of the Prime Minister, and before September 2015, the company that his brother Angus Smallpin Young was the CEO of, NCB Global, had no public sector work ever. And when Smallpin swearing just so, this company started to win. UDCOT 180 million first when Rowley moved UDCOT from under housing where Grabby Wabby was and Dillon was under the office of the Prime Minister. The first contract given to Angus Smallpin Young was from UDCOT under the office of the Prime Minister for 180 million. Within 5 years, he moved from 0 to 4.2 billion in public sector work. When Dr. Terence Farrell resigned and the Economic Development Board collapsed because they say Rowley don't listen to nobody except the Obia man. Well, they didn't say that, but we know that's who he listened to now. You know who Rowley replaced the Economic Development Board with? Richard Smallpin Young. And Richard Smallpin Young was also in charge of the IFC, getting 15 million a year for the last 8 years, and not one I come out in the F nor the C. Ewart Williams resigned and says nothing, stay quiet, because that is PNM Obia. Denise Deming resigned from the tourism chairman of the tourism company board, say nothing because it's PNM Obia. Nicola Oliveri get fired because she was checking out fake oil that was just coming out miraculously, like from Lake Otoa. Jumbie was pulling it out. She get fired, say nothing because the PNM Obia. And you now realizing separation of powers is important. You had Keith Rowley and Stuart Smallpin Young going down to Australia, meeting with CEOs, touring plant where they build ferries, walking around, meeting, eating shrimps and drinking scotch, then tell the two private companies to bid and send the bids to Stuart Smallpin Young and his ministerial committee, and they call that a tender, Hostile and Incat. And then they look at the Incat and Hostile bids. They see that Incat's bid was 10 million US less than Hostile. They contact Hostile and give them secret information of Incat, and so that Hostile could lower its bid. And then they hand out 1-1 and then buy 2 cutlass vessels. Y'all didn't say that that was wrong. When Kamala had 1 person to 1 board, 1 chairman to 1 board, that was corporate governance to reduce the opportunities for corruption. Rowley have Ingrid Lashley on 9 board. Ingrid Lashley was the woman when Kamala was trying to get Vasant Bharat to approve a 2% loan for first-time homeowners so people could buy house cheap. She refused to implement. She on 9 board and living next to Rowley in Inez Gate. Newman George on 6 board. Eustace Nancis on 7 board. Rowley personal attorney in charge of Heritage, where they had an investigation that's supposed to be going on all now into oil that just miraculously multiplied by the thousands of barrels per day. And now you're realizing that you need checks and balances to prevent corruption when the most corrupt government has been in place and is still in place with a web of corruption that spans the entire public sector. You have one man related to the president, Noel Garcia, no-teeth, ugly self, in charge of building hospitals, airport, health facility, community center, fire stations, police stations, sporting stadium, recreation grounds, and every single house in Trinidad and Tobago. Noel Garcia in charge of Red House reconstruction and renovation, the magnificent 7 President's House, Prime Minister residence in Tobago, all of these projects, billions of dollars, stadium repair, 90 million with $5 seats, the Skinner Park reduced the field from a football field to a sweat pitch. Noel Garcia and your media now discussing that corporate governance is necessary to prevent corruption and interlocking directorships are not good. You have called me but good friend Patrick Ferreira, who, when that lady Drayton, who was a former independent senator, they moved she from NIB to put Coleman but friend. He does ride in Jeep since 1977 with Patrick Ferreira, who have questions to answer about his former dabbling in insurance. Put him in charge of NIB. Put him in charge of Home Mortgage Bank. Put him in charge of TTM. That is the new Calder Heart. And now you all are discussing propriety, separation of powers. When it was a tea party, a bishop's tea party, and all the independent senators who were appointed by the very president, when the Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the opposition was saying we need a tribunal to investigate the actions of the president on August 11, 2021, when Rowley went and whispered in she ears, FUL, FUL, and she called Blissy Prasad and breached the Constitution section 123.4 and made Blissy Prasad misbehave in public office, thwarting the merit list and clearing the way for 2 of the worst PNM commissions of police in history, and blood flowing like water in the streets. Last year, 608 murders, worst ever in our history. This year, we reached 555 and the year end done. Archie, show them whenever PNM is in power. Whenever PNM is in power, the murder rate goes up. Start this and watch the graph carefully for the most murderous countries in the world per capita. Let's look from 2001 to 2022. And remember, in 2001, you had 6 years of Bastille Pandey and the UNC before Ramesh, Romeo, and Ralph got tied up and greedy, just like everybody else who want everything and don't understand politics is not about yourself. Look what happened to the crime rate when PNM takes charge. And then look carefully as when Rowley took charge from his Lekoto Jumbi and his Obia walking, and how his small pin broke the record in 2019, and now his Sleepy Fitzgerald at Talbot, narcolepsy, sleepy body bag, ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy and wind up on the boy back. This clung here, Pomsite Rasta Fitzgerald Hines. Archie, run that video, and people, look carefully, look for your flag, look for Trinidad and Tobago, and check the dates and see who was in charge when murders go up. Run it. There you have it. And if you notice, from 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, we fell off the chart there. The flag was safe. The flag was protected. 2012-13 into beginning of 14 was light. And so on. They keep repeating the same lies. Under live sport, murder rate was lowest, lower, way lower, down below, because live sport was there to take criminal fellas off the street, identify their talent, give them guidance, social workers, psychologists, food in the belly, teamwork, working with national heroes and footballers, and getting them away from the crime, taking away the demand for the labor force of the criminal gangs. PNM comes in on nonsense and lies, and now crime is at its highest level ever. Fitzgerald et Albert Hines now has the gold and silver for the most murderous years in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. 2022, 608, and 2023, 555 and counting. In third place is Martin Joseph, 2008 PNM. In fourth place is Stuart Smallpin Young, 2019 539. When the PNM is in charge, crime escalates. Pain, muggings, home invasions, kidnappings, murders, shootings, woundings, everything in crime goes up. And Rowley now says crime costing TNT millions, and he spends $11 million of your money with Noel Garcia on a 25-meter by 15-meter pool with an average depth of 1.5 meters. A pool, concrete design, without flow over guttering, shallow, waste of time, a pond which costs approximately $1.7 million. The PNM spend $11 million, and mamagayan people, but that is the crime fighting initiative. Yet, the pool closed from Friday 4 o'clock till Monday 8 a.m. because they have no public servants, no lifeguards, and no policy to keep it open during the weekend, just like all the other little ponds they build. They build in Laventille and tell you, get Olympians from there. Just mamagayan poor black people. It's disgusting. It's evil. It reeks of sulfur and obeah. But crime costing Trinidad and Tobago millions, says Rowley. Well, let me read from an article in Newsday on page 18. And look where the Newsday hide this article. 4 men are expected to appear before a Sangre Grande magistrate on Tuesday, which is Tuesday, go on there, on charges of illegal quarrying after police operations at an area known as 5 Acres, Vega de Oropuch, Sangre Grande on December 2nd. They accuse all are employees of Presticon and Warner Construction. Now, Warner Construction, were these fellas rebels? Did they steal your equipment and go to quarry illegally? These 4 employees? If so, what has been done? What disciplinary measures have been taken? Or were they working under your instructions as Warner Construction and Presticon? Wasn't it Massey who sold Warner Construction Presticon for $17 million, a paltry sum? All of this interlocking directorships of obeah coming from Lekuto. It's very serious. You must know who's Warner Construction. Warner, that's Rowley's friend Warner, who he was in a business relationship with previously, who owns a sheep farm together, and they were in other businesses. When Rowley was doing a project at the same time that the government was building the Scarborough Hospital, Rowley was doing a development called Landate. The contractor who was doing that project was Warner Construction, and Warner Construction, a small company at that time, they subcontracted Emil Elias NH, a big monster company, to do work, and NH also happened to be doing the Scarborough Hospital. This is Keith Christopher Rowley. That is Warner Construction. That is quarrying, illegal quarrying, and the newspaper put that on page 18, you know. Rowley is in Parliament on record as saying, Warner is my friend and business partner. Just like his friend, his good friend, was Bash of AV Oil. And y'all didn't say, newspapers didn't say, that the Prime Minister who admitted that was his good friend should have recused himself from any and all decision-making positions with regards to that matter. But no, y'all let him dance the dance. And his friend ended up taking off his jersey bareback, using racist epithets and saying how he loves Stuart Smallpin Young more than hog love mud. That's what y'all love in this country. And now y'all talking about we need separation of powers. You didn't say that when the Chief of Defense Staff who approved promotions arbitrarily. But remember, when Rowley and them was under pressure because the population was unsafe and the borders were unprotected and there was no diesel for the vessels to do patrols and so on, this Chief of Defense Staff came out in defense of the PNM and said that they do 1,000 hours of patrols in 1 week. The maths say maths, only obeah could work that because you can't get 1,000 hours in 1 week no matter how you stretch it. But then you're now talking about checks and balances. when you allow the tyrannical Obiaman dictator to control every independent institution across the board, and then wonder why our country has fallen into the chasm of a failed state. UNC pushing EBC to finish verification exercise. No verification exercise of voters has been done since 2001. But what has been done is that the niece of a former sitting PNM MP has been appointed as the head of the EBC, the best friend of Nyan Gadsby Dolly, the current Minister of Education, and the deputy political leader of the PNM at St. Augustine Girls. Look them there, best friends. How come your newspapers don't say that that's inappropriate, that you need to find someone who does not like yellow, does not like red, and it just wants to be professional and do their job and create a fair playing field for competitive election based on merit so that democracy can thrive? Look at these friends, lovey-dovey, for 30 years, 40 years, they are friends, best friends from in school. So you feel this narcissistic go like Kamala more than Gadsby Dolly? Something is wrong with you all in this country. So the media don't come now and feign interest, talk about apparent bias and separation of powers, when all the powers have been commingled under Rowley and his dictatorial side. So much so that the country is in mayhem and chaos. You're going to try to get cheap furniture and you get murder in the car park by Courts Megastore, and Courts have nothing to say. Courts, you all have nothing to say. What is going on in Courts Megastore that some skullman could steal all your thing, sell it to our next man, and create paperwork and have people coming down in your store to get killed? Courts, no statement. Just stay quiet. Just stay quiet like the PNM. Don't tell me nothing. No secrecy on the Paria report. I will end with this now. Says the Newsday editorial. Well, Newsday, what you're going to do? Because it's total secrecy, total delay, total obfuscation, hiding the report. That's what Rowley is doing. So your entire editorial, Rowley is ignoring you. Rowley and Kangaloo have the report. They're hiding it from the public. What say you, Newsday? What say you, Guardian? What say you, Express? What say you, CNC3? What say you, Guardian Media Limited? What say you, TV6? Leave him because he's Rowley, because he's an Obia man and he walking voodoo. That's why Brigo sing about it. And Brigo and Rowley look like they could have been twins. Good night.
Bacchanal in the country, I ball like a cow. A girl want me marry, she want me marry now. Went and do evil thing to me, in order that I should marry she. A voodoo man tell me they have my name in the cemetery. They put my family against me, just so. A voodoo man tell me they give me dead people bone and tea. They have me tied from my head to my toe. Don't care how I try, I properly tied. I want to go, let me go. I want to go, let me go. Yeah, yeah. I want to go, let me go. She gave me my breakfast last week Saturday. I get so delirious, I throw it away. A dog was passing the same time. It smell the food and start to whine. A voodoo man tell me they have my name in the cemetery. They put my family against me, just so. A voodoo man tell me, give me dead people bone tea. They have me tied from my head to my toe. Don't care how I try, I properly high. I want to go, go. Let me go, go. I want to go, go. Let me go, go. Hey, hey. Ah, ah, ah. Oh. Oh.